Today, I'm working with the K2 Pro from Creality for a mold making project, specifically a plaster mold making project for ceramic slip casting. And I've been wanting to make a mold system for ceramic colanders for quite a while. But none of the printers that I have are big enough to make the parts that I need to make a mold around something of this size without splicing a bunch of pieces together. So that's why I'm excited to be working with the K2 Pro with a bed size of 300 by 300 millimeters that's going to allow me to make the parts that need to work around something of this scale without gluing a bunch of things together. Let's go.
All right, so I've designed this bowl in 3D, and I want to print a prototype of this at full scale before diving into a mold system for this. Okay, so I'm over in Creality Print Slicer. We'll go ahead and preview this. It looks like because of the strength of that dome, it's not going to need supports until it gets into pretty much the flat area of the inside of the bowl. So this is looking perfect. Before I send this to print, I'm going to switch on the printer, and I've already ran the self-check and hooked this up to Wi-Fi, which was super easy, so startup should be pretty quick. From what I've read, it's going to go through each roll in the filament manager to make sure that there are no tangles and to detect information about each roll, such as how much filament is on each roll, what type of filament is loaded, and which colors are in there. Okay, that took about a minute, and it's got all the information from the filament manager in the system, and it's time to send this to print. I chose green filament for the prototype, so now it's loading the fourth spool into the hot end while the nozzle and bed heat up. And the display very clearly shows me the model that's being printed, the orientation, and how long it's going to take. I already did a bed level check, which I forgot to record, but now it's off to the races. It's laying down its first layer, which is looking great. I'm always so amazed at how fast these printers are. This is actually in real time, but I'll spare you the next 8 hours with a time lapse. This is not my day job, and I also don't want to stare at a machine for 8 hours either. But I was able to monitor this print remotely from within Creality Print. The built-in camera is really clear and responsive, so I was able to check in every hour or so to monitor print vitals, status, and make sure no crazy print failures had occurred. All right, the proto is complete, and now I get to evaluate the shape and size of the design. I was actually really happy with how this felt in my hands, so it's time to move on to the actual mold design for casting this form. All right, we're back in our 3D modeling software, and you can see that I've inverted the bowl and removed the holes, since that will be done after I've already cast the piece in ceramic, and I've added this platform around the lip of the bowl that attaches to this outer shell. We're back in Creality Slicer, and there's a few things we need to do to set these forms up for ceramic slip casting. The first of which is accounting for clay shrinkage rate. So we're going to scale these parts up about 10%. So we'll use the scale tool, set this to 110%, and we'll also do that to these parts as well. And that's pretty much maxing out our 300 by 300 bed size. And the next thing we need to consider is that this will be fully encapsulated inside of plaster and will be very hard to remove. So what we can do is use the drill command here. We'll go straight from the top. We're doing this at 3 millimeters, which is perfect, and drill that straight through. Each one of these prints took about 7 hours, and both ran flawlessly. So far, the printer has run for over 24 hours without any issues, and because the Creality CFS automatically detects when a spool has run out, it automatically will switch to a different spool of the same color if one exists, which is really awesome when running these long prints.
Now, let's talk about a couple other aspects of this mold system. So I noticed that the outer walls are not straight. I've actually designed the outer walls of this. There's a little lip here that catches that. And I've designed the outer walls to kind of follow the curve so that I can reduce the amount of plaster that I need. And the plaster walls are equally thick around the entire cast. So what we actually have to do is seal this first. So all I'm going to do is take this little 1/4-inch piece of tape and put that right over the hole there. And this is ready to go. All right, so I'm just getting the last clips holding the barrier system together. And one really cool part about 3D printing molds is that if you have the 3D models, you also have all of the volume that is associated with this cavity. So because I have that, I'm able to calculate exactly how much plaster and water I need. So for every mold system, I always write on the bottom of it how much water and how much plaster I need to perfectly fill this up. And I'll kind of round up a little bit just in case I need a little bit extra. So let's start mixing some plaster. All right, this is all mixed up, and we'll do a slow pour to the side so that we're hitting the low point. Just gonna use a metal rib here. Just gonna push that away. And this one we should be able to do with our hand. We have our plaster mold. And that's our little piece of tape that we can now just simply remove. And our mold system is completely unharmed. And the great part about a 3D printed mold system is now we can easily repeat the process over and over again.
Now you might be remembering that we are making a colander, and I won't leave you hanging. To get this pattern transferred onto the plaster, I'm going to print a couple little jigs, both for the wall and for the bottom of the colander. We're going to print these out so that we can transfer the design onto the inside of the plaster really mechanically.
So this lip right here sits perfectly on the gallery edge, and now I can Dremel or just indent the plaster through these holes all the way around so that when I cast my clay into this mold, that's transferred onto the clay and I'll know exactly where to drill later. So I'm just marking the plaster with a Sharpie through each hole, and I want to mark exactly where this ended so that I can line up the jig for the next wedge. So I'll simply just move this over. I'll line that up with where my mark is, and I'll repeat the process all the way around. All right, we got all of our holes marked, and now it's time to Dremel.
The plaster is still super soft at this stage, so it's easy to remove material. The plaster gets a little bath, and here's the final mold cast from 3D printed parts. This mold will now dry for about 10 days and then can be cast to create a replica of our. Stay tuned for the next phase of the project, where we'll be casting, drilling, glazing, and firing a colander.